presenter today doesn't mind if you take notes using technology, so you can use your computers to go ahead and do that. And it looks like we're about to get started. So today we have Mark Quistorf. He is from, he's from Financial Aid, and he's going to be talking to us about budgeting. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. So just a little bit about me. I'm a first-generation college student. I grew up in the country with very blue-collar parents, farm backgrounds. So money was always an issue in my household. And being first-gen, this is a presentation I developed because these are things I wish I would have known at 18, because I made a lot of really bad financial decisions at 18 that really had impact throughout most of my adult life. So I want students to graduate from here having a broad financial knowledge so that they know things that I wish I knew when I graduated from college. So we're gonna talk a little bit about budgeting, we're gonna talk a little bit about student loans, mostly though about real world finance kind of stuff. So first, because I know how it can be to just sit and listen, the first activity we're gonna do is we're gonna get up and we're gonna move around the room. So what I'm gonna do is I have 12 statements here, and I'm gonna read each statement, and if you agree with that statement sounds like something that you agree with, something you do, you're gonna go to this side of the room. If you disagree, you're gonna go over here, kind of shuffle over, and then there'll be a little middle neutral. So stand up. Yeah, you can leave your stuff. We're staying in the room. So the first statement is, money is there to be spent. I have a budget plan that I follow. I have a budget plan that I follow. You guys, you have a leg up. That's pretty impressive. Next statement, I agree that you have to spend money to make money. I agree that you have to spend money to make money. So if you agree over here, right. Next, I'm somebody who is very good at saving. Next. I have credit cards that are in my name. Next, money management excites me.
Yeah, it's such a dreadful thing.
I feel like I have a grasp on my finances. Think about the financial future of my life often. Spending a lot of money for something I really want scares me. Spending a lot of money for something I really want scares me. Awesome. I understand how a credit score is calculated. I understand how a credit score is calculated. I would like to talk to a financial planner. I would like to talk to a financial planner. And finally, My college enrollment is part of my long-term financial plan. My college enrollment is part of my long-term financial plan. Awesome. All right. You guys can return to your seats. So that exercise is an exercise to get you thinking about finances. Get you thinking about things that are real-world finances that will impact you as you go through your adulthood. Things that you should know and be able to navigate before you graduate from Marian. All right. So we're going to start here just with this video.
More items on your to-do list than hours in the day? If you're in college,
hear that
you know
okay?
exactly what we're talking about. But there's one thing you should never be too busy to do, and that is taking time to make a budget. A budget is a financial plan that will help you make smart spending choices today while preparing for tomorrow. Budgeting will help you achieve your goals and prepare you for unexpected bumps in the road. So what goes into making a budget? First, you'll need to track your income and expenses for a particular period of time, such as a month. You can use pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app. After that, making your budget comes down to a simple equation: what you earn minus what you spend. To determine your income, include items such as wages earned at work, allowances from family, and student financial aid such as grants or scholarships. To determine your expenses, include items such as tuition, books, rent, credit card payments, and car payments. Then simply subtract your expenses from your income. Are your earnings greater than your spending? If so, you could choose to invest, buy a new cell phone, or simply save for a rainy day. But what if you spent more than you earned? If that's the case, it's time to cut back on your expenses and balance your budget. You may also need to find a way to increase your income. Remember, everyone's budget is unique and it will fluctuate from month to month. So use a budget and be mindful of your daily expenses. That way you can make sure you're spending your money on things that really matter to you. When you budget, you decide where your money goes instead of wondering where it all went. And there you have it, the basics of a budget. Now it's time to create your own. Go to studentaid.gov/budget to get started.
All right. All right. So like in that video, what it talked about, when you're creating your budget, the most important thing to answer for yourself is what is important to you? What is important to you? And be honest. If you're somebody who has to have coffee in the morning, coffee needs to be in your budget. You're setting yourself up to fail if you're a coffee drinker who has to have coffee if you take that out of your budget. And you don't want to set yourself up to fail. You want to be honest about what is important to you and what can you do with and what can you do without. All right. So one of the first things to do when you're creating your budget is you need to choose a time span. So we've all heard of monthly budgets. That's a pretty common one. But that may not work for everybody. It may be better for you to budget paycheck by paycheck. So if you know that you're going to have a paycheck on the 15th and a paycheck on the 30th, and you know the amounts, it might work best for you to budget for each of those paychecks and stick to that plan. The time span can be whatever you think works best for you. It could be weekly, monthly, it could be for the semester, whatever you can stick to and create a realistic budget for yourself. Use a tool to help. So you can do pen and paper. I'm going to pass around some budget worksheets that you can use. Pass those around. So what I'm passing out is just one tool. You can use Excel. Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets is a really good tool to use for budgeting. It can create a clear picture for you, and you can do a lot of things with formulas being set up so you can really see how you're doing on your budget. There's budgeting apps on your phone. So you can go to the Apple Store or Google Play, look up budgeting, and there's free budgeting apps on your phone. And you're all getting a budgeting booklet. And so that budgeting booklet can be a tool for you to guide you in thinking about your budget as well. The key is to use a tool because then it becomes concrete and it becomes real. If you just keep it up here, it's really easy to not stick to it because it's not as real, it's not as concrete for you. So put it somewhere physical. Don't just think, okay, in my head I have 300, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Actually create a physical thing that you can refer back to, and you can use it to track how you're doing on your budgeting, how you're doing with your finances. Oh, my clicker. Income. So with budgeting, you have to know what your income is. And that can be several things. So what is your income from work? What are your paychecks? What do those look like? What are you typically earning a paycheck? What are you typically earning a month? That's something that should go into your budgeting tool, into Excel, whatever you're using. An income tax refund. Do you usually get a refund? Do you usually get most of your money back? What does that tax refund look like? That's something that you want to track and put in your budgeting tool. If you're somebody who has excess financial aid and you're getting a credit balance back, what is that amount? How are you going to use that? So you want to track that all in your income. Some students are getting support from parents. If you're getting a monthly allowance from your parents, that also should go into your income line. And other things that is income, you want to make sure that that's all tracked in your budgeting tool, all tracked in Excel, all tracked on pen and paper, so that you have a clear picture of this is the income that I'm earning for this time period. So if you're doing it for a month, you want to know this is the income I'm earning for every month. If you're doing it each paycheck, this is the income I have every paycheck. And does that vary sometimes? Expenses. What are your expenses? So there's two kinds of expenses. So there's fixed. Fixed means that they're basically the same every month. They're kind of non-negotiable. So your fixed expenses. What is your rent if you're living off campus in an apartment? What does that look like? What is your tuition balance or your balance to Marian? Are you on a payment plan, a monthly payment plan that you're paying out of pocket? That's a fixed expense you want to make sure you have on your budget tool. Your car insurance and car payment. So you want to know, is that paid, are you paying car insurance and your car payment monthly? Are you paying that? Sometimes you can do it by quarter based on your insurance company. So you want to know that, track that, and make sure that's in your budgeting tool so you have that fixed expense. Your internet or cable bills are another thing. One really important thing with internet or cable, also, because we live in this time of subscriptions, so Netflix, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, have somebody else that you trust look at your list of expenses. Because those, sometimes we forget those. I know that I will do a free trial because I want to watch some show and then I forget to cancel it and then something comes through on my bank statement and I'm like, now what the hell? So make sure you have that list of these are the subscriptions that I have as well. Those are easy to forget sometimes because we're doing those on the TV. We're doing those, we think we're going to do a free trial to watch something quickly. So have someone else look at them and then they can remind you of, oh wait, you have this as well. That's something that was really helpful for me because I forgot all about those. And then I had a friend be like, well wait, didn't we just watch Netflix at your house? So then I'm like, oh yeah, I do pay for that. So, then there's variable expenses. So there's Groceries kind of change based on your needs, kind of change based on the state of prices. Clothes, you may need clothes for a certain month because you have an event and you need a new outfit. You want to make sure you're budgeting for that. Some months you may not need a clothes expense. If you're like me, you need one every month. So that's, again, being honest with yourself. I know I have to have a new outfit every month, so I have to be honest when I budget for that. Movies, that's an expense. Is that something that's important to you? Do you need to have money to go to a movie once a month? Some people do. Some people may be like, you know what, I don't ever need to go to a movie again, and that's okay. Music, are you paying for Spotify? Is that an important expense for you? Do you have to have your music be able to download new music, new things? You want to make sure you have that list as well. And then on your expenses, you want to make sure you're capturing all those fixed and variable expenses and tracking those. Then, it comes time you have to balance your budget. So what does it look like when you're looking at monthly income versus monthly expenses? Is it equal? Is it balanced? Or is it lopsided in a good way where you have more income? And then you can make some decisions on that. I have more income. Or is it lopsided in a not so great way? You have more expenses than you're earning. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that, see where you're at. Really important with this is forgive yourself. Things happen. Sometimes what can happen is you have a budget, you have 2 to 3 months of success, and then month 4 something happens and you had more expenses than income, and then you're like, sometimes naturally as people we can be like, well, I'm not doing this anymore. It's important to forgive yourself and go back on track. Okay, I had a bad month. I'll try these things to make sure my expenses are lower for my next month. It's okay. Like I said, I made a lot of bad decisions when I was 18. If it was a bad financial decision, I made it. So you have to keep going. So, and then save if you can. If you do have more income, some months, see if you can save that. See if you can make sure you have some money put aside so that when you do have a month where your expenses exceed your income, it's not going to be a disaster and an emergency because you have some stuff put aside for you. It might not always be possible. Maybe success for you is a balanced budget every month, and that's okay. But if you do have those excess income versus expenses, try and save. Always regroup and keep at it. I wager that almost everybody in the room, unless they're pretty wealthy, has had bad months when it comes to budgeting. Had months where you didn't think you spent as much as you did, and then you look at the credit card statement, you look at your bank account, and you're like, now what? That happens to everybody. The key is, and people who are really successful with finances, what they do is they don't let that get them down. They regroup, they keep on their plan, they assess their plan and see, is this plan still working? I'm budgeting monthly and I find that I'm always having more expenses than income. Maybe then you need to change the time span. Maybe that time span goes to every paycheck. Maybe that time span goes to weekly, because that's what works better for you. It doesn't have to be a one-size-fits-all. It really is, what is going to be best for me and what works for me? All right. So, planning ahead. A lot of times when I do these presentations, there's a lot of fear in the room about student loans. I talk to a lot of families. They're afraid of student loans. That's something that weighs on the mind of many students. So we're going to just talk a little bit about what you can do if you are somebody who has student loans in the room. First, it's important to find out who your loan servicer is. Your Your loan servicer is going to be the person that it's a company that works with the federal government that you actually are going to pay your loans to. And finding out your loan servicer now is really great. Make that relationship now. Because what you can start to see is, I have this relationship with the loan servicer. I know what my loans look like. And I always say, go to studentaid.gov. That's the same website where you did your FAFSA. You're going to see a dashboard of your financial aid. Look at your loans. What is it looking like? If you do have unsubsidized loans, and there's interest that's about to be capitalized, can you pay some on that? That could be something that's in your budget. I know I have unsubsidized loan. I'm going to budget $50 every month to pay to that. If that's doable for you. Again, don't set yourself up for failure, but if that's doable, that's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. And that's something that your loan servicer will help you through. They'll help you through how to make a payment. You always can make early payments. You never have to. Don't get me wrong, you never have to until after you graduate, but you can always make early payments. So if you do have that extra money, maybe you get a big Christmas check every year, and you want to use that to pay down some interest on your unsub. That's a great way to make sure when you do go into repayment, you have less to repay. It's more manageable. Also on studentaid.gov, there is a loan repayment calculator. So you can, for a lot of you, as early as probably now, maybe in the next few weeks, because it takes about a month, when we disperse loans, you can go to studentaid.gov, you can start going through repayment calculators. So this is the debt I have now. This is what it looks like. What does that look like in terms of repayment? And they'll show you all of the options you have. It'll also ask you some questions. What is your desire? Are you looking to make sure you have the lowest payment? It'll show you payment plans that give you that and what that payment is. Are you looking to pay your loans off really quickly? It'll show you a payment plan for that and what that payment looks like. So you can start to have in mind, even now in your first semester, this is how I navigate my student loans. This is my plan for my student loans. I am aware of all the payment plans out there. So then it's not so overwhelming when you do go into repayment and you get that letter or email from your loan servicer and you see the standard plan. You know, sometimes that can be a shock. It was a shock to my system, you know. So if you're going through that every semester, you're not going to have that same level of, what is this? And if you're working with your servicer, loans are very navigable. You can do a lot of negotiating. Your servicer is there to help you. They will make sure that you succeed in repaying your loans and making sure that it's not a huge burden to repay your loans. So being aware is one of the best things that you can do. So resources, studentaid.gov, also SaberNet. SaberNet is the website you use to register for classes. You can see your schedules on there, but also you can look at your bill. You can make payments. You can get on a payment plan. So SaberNet is a really great resource that way. Sure. So the question is the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. So subsidized loans are student loans that some students qualify for based on the FAFSA information, and a subsidized loan doesn't accrue interest while the student is in school. So if we disperse $1,750 of a subsidized loan, in 4 years when you graduate, that loan will be $1,750. Unsubsidized, the government does not subsidize the interest, so unsubsidized loans accrue interest the whole life of the loan. So those are the ones like we were talking about when you go onto studentaid.gov, you might see that $50 is about to accrue and capitalize on your student loans, and if you pay that, you're going to save yourself money because you're keeping that principal down. So that's just one option that you can do in terms of navigating those loans. If you can't do that, that's okay too. There are other ways. Being aware is the most important thing. So unsubsidized accrues interest, subsidized doesn't accrue interest while you're in school. All right. Any other questions? Okay. So SaberNet. SaberNet is where you can make payments. I would check SaberNet at least once a semester. Make sure that your bill looks like how you thought it would look. If you are, for example, in spring, when we start billing, we'll start billing in December. Make sure you're looking at that bill. If you're somebody who was on campus and now you're living at home, make sure your bill reflects that. Also, check your financial aid. If you're missing any financial aid that you thought was going to lower your bill, come see our office. There might be some documents you need to do. And we'll walk you through those. So with SaberNet, there are official payment plans. One thing that I try to stress to students as well, if you're a family, if you're looking at the payment plan and it looks like the official payment plan is too much, look at your budget tool, figure out an amount you can pay and just pay regularly. You may not be able to register right away, we'll work with you, but if we see that students are making an effort and paying regularly, that prompts us much more likely to know about you, to look at you like when we have scholarships that come through on our table. It also is going to be in your best interest because it's going to keep chipping away at that balance. If you have a weekly budget and you feel like you can do $5 a week is great. By all means, if you can get on the payment plan, that's great. But sometimes students, and since I had an audience of freshmen, sometimes freshmen think, oh, well that payment plan was too much, I'm just not going to pay anything. And then they come to us in November and December, and they have huge balances and can't register. And so when we look at that, it's much harder to make a case with the business office, make a case for extra financial aid if we don't see any kind of payments that are regular. And we want you to chip away at that balance. So that's something that you can use your budgeting tool for as well. That could be one of your expenses. I know I can pay $5 a week to this balance. My Financial Aid is another great tool. So what My Financial Aid is it's all of your financial aid information that my office collects. So you're going to be able to see if you're missing any documents. So like we said, when you're checking your SaberNet award, if you are not seeing, you thought you had a subsidized loan and you're not seeing it on your account, go to My Financial Aid as well. Go to the to-do list, see if you're missing any documents. You can always come to my office as well, we'll walk you through that. But you do have that tool at your fingertips. You can see your award, and then this is also the tool where you can accept, decline, reduce your loans when we do award you. So every year you're going to be awarded financial aid. So we worked with your families, we sent you paper letters this freshman year. Fast forward to sophomore year, what's going to happen in this semester, hopefully, you're going to do the FAFSA again, and around December, probably January, you're going to get an award email. So it won't be a paper award like you got freshman year. It's going to be an email, and it's going to prompt you to go to My Financial Aid and to go to the Accept Awards tab, accept your awards, make those decisions for the awards that we're going to offer you. So get to know My Financial Aid now so that you know your password, you know how to navigate it, you know where to go, so that it isn't a burden when you get that award letter for your next year and you have to do that all through My Financial Aid and make those decisions. If you have any questions, my office is on the 3rd floor. We'll walk you through anything. We love meeting with students. It takes us away from some of our Excel tools and our spreadsheets, so come talk to us. We'd love that as well. which is your last resource, financial aid office. So my office is an office of 4. We will work with you on anything with financial aid. We'll work with you on a budget. If you want to sit down and go through a budgeting tool with us, we will definitely do that with you. So if you have ideas, you just want to talk to someone about it, you want to talk through your expenses, come see us. We will do that with you. Of course, we will talk to you about your bill. We'll talk to you about your financial aid. We'll make sure that your documents are in. But we would love to sit down and talk to you about budgeting, your expenses, creating the budgeting tool, what tool works best for you, and things like that. All right. Any questions? Anyone excited to start a budget? A few of you. That's good. I think it is a really important task. And learn from my mistakes is something I didn't do. But it really can, especially making it concrete, can really help you navigate a lot of decisions. Sometimes when it's up here, our brains work to justify what we want to do. We are our own best defense attorneys, I like to put it. We will always have a justification. So if we just rely here, we're going to tend to make some poor financial decisions. So make sure, find a tool that works for you, whether that be the worksheet that you got, and if you need more of those, I have like thousands. So I ordered in bulk. I have the whole box up here. Anyone who didn't get one, come up here too. I have a whole box up here. So you can get more. Excel, phone. Make it real, make it concrete. That's the lasting impact. And when you're budgeting, make sure you also, because now you are in college, you also include things like your payment plan, your tuition bill, into the real world budget that you're creating. So when you make it concrete, you tend to stick to it better. So that's why we always stress doing a tool. All right. Any other questions, anything? All right. Thank you, guys.